So I think we should start calling United Airlines the airlines of Dr. Dao. Okay, so this was the guy that was a 69-year-old doctor dragged off a United Airlines flight, and the whole thing was filmed by people with their smartphones. Now, I read an article in the Federalist where a guy who's an actual reporter did research and found out facts. So I'm going to put that down on a link below that you can read this and verify stuff yourself. But here's how United screwed up big time. Okay, they did a lot of lying, but they've admitted their lies and stuff, but let's go over a few things they did. So what they did was they had a flight that was full of people, and then all of a sudden, last minute, after everyone's seated on board, they want 4 employees to get on and kick some people off so the employees can hitch a ride. Okay, so when you go into United's passenger agreement, which is the contract they have with their passengers, it specifically states that if a flight is overbooked, then they will ask for volunteers to take a pay thing and take a later flight and get a voucher and pay them some money. If there's no volunteers, then they will they have a process to pick the last person basically who wasn't assigned a seat, and then that person who they have a ticket but they haven't been assigned a seat, and if they're not first class or not some type of high mileage customer and they're not disabled and they're not a minor, that person draws the short straw. Here's the catch. Everywhere in their term says denied boarding, denied boarding. Here's the problem. He was already on board. So now they're in the wrong ones because they're kicking a person off after they boarded them, and their policy says they can only deny boarding. They can't forcibly disembark you. So problem number 1. Violation number 2 was the fact the plane was not overbooked. It had all the passengers on board, no passengers were left off. They were putting employees on board, which there's no thing in their contract saying employees can bump passengers. Only overbooked passengers can cause a denial of boarding, not deboarding. Okay, so now that's number 2. Number 3, they stated in a press release that they randomly selected the doctor. Okay, they didn't follow their policy, they randomly selected him. Now let me explain something to you. When you randomly select a 69-year-old Asian man and then have him get beat up on camera, this is what a lawyer calls a wet dream case. Lawyers, if they dreamed this case, would lose their minds. This is a lawyer's best dream. They are going to make so much money off this scenario. Because now they say, oh, they randomly selected him. That means they just picked him because he was an old Asian guy and figured he wouldn't give them any trouble and wouldn't refuse them, and so they're racist. They are racist, and they profiled him and they messed up. So now you got this. Now you got discrimination lawsuit thrown in there. Okay, getting better, right? All right. Then the last thing that they screwed up on was the fact that they tried to say that he caused a disturbance on the plane, which is like, oh, he wouldn't cooperate. He was causing a disturbance. Well, he didn't cause a disturbance because they got film of him talking on his phone to someone at United saying, I'm not getting off this plane. I'm a doctor. I got patients I have to see at 8 a.m. tomorrow. I'm not giving up my seat. And that's when basically he was calm. He wasn't causing disturbance. He was just refusing to leave his seat after he was randomly selected. So they don't even have that part of their contract to hold up and say, well, he caused a disturbance, because he didn't. And there's video of it. So again, he's going to make so much freaking money off this because they had all these violations of their own contract. Now, United needs to figure out these people that screwed up the employees and hang them out to dry. Of course, they're up in Chicago. They probably got a damn union and they can't fire the employees more than likely, even though they've embarrassed the hell out of the airline and broken 4 or 5 rules that the airline had in place. So it's a complete and utter debacle. United, to get people on their planes after all this, they're going to have the lowest fares out there, which means they're not going to be making a profit. They're going to lose money over this big time, and they deserve it though. I mean, They had a concerted effort to break their own rules and throw an old Asian guy off a plane for no damn good reason. They don't have any ground to fall back on. And like I said, this is a lawyer's wet dream. Lawyers sit around a law school praying for a huge company to make so many violations that they can't even stand up or defend themselves in court at all. So anyway, maybe the CEO will have to resign and get paid millions of dollars. Who knows? But again, I do know that this is really not good for United, and they deserve everything they get, in my opinion.